What's up everyone, Beast Mode back here with another video. So today I'm going to cover the first and second place deck of the recent BCS tournament. I believe it was BCS number 10. It's crazy that we've already had 10 tournaments. This tournament was pretty large. I believe this is the second largest BCS we've had. It was over 40 players. I think it was 41 players. So these tournaments are single elimination. We award just a small invite to our small little championship that we'll have at the end of the year for the players that are winning these events and or getting, first and second depending on the amount of players. So we'll have that sometime, probably October-ish. But anyway, 41 players, single elimination. So I think it's roughly 5 or 6 rounds of tournament play. And today we are covering the second place deck first. This is 10 Foot's Value Turbo. So 10 Foot has actually won one of these tournaments a few weeks ago. And he is known for value, of course. I would say he's probably the best value player. That's my personal opinion. And he's really popularized the Spirit Reaper tech. Now, a lot of the value decks have really encompassed this card in the deck. But very standard value here. Not much has changed. The one thing that you'll notice is he doesn't play Gores. And I've actually heard a lot of his theory on it. Most of it makes sense. The problem is a lot of people just know he doesn't play Gores, so he really sets up a lot of the OTK plays, and they just go for it because there's really no fear. Of course, there's double oppression in this build, so you have to watch out with that. That does interact with the Gores play, but this is the best Royal Oppression deck in my opinion. The reason why you'd want to play this deck is for Royal Oppression. A lot of people have cut this down to 1. He's still on a full double pair here in the main deck. I don't think it's wrong or right. It depends on what you expect that day. But at one point, it was heavily, Blackwing meta, and now it's kind of really moved more towards a hero beat meta, which Royal Oppression does work in. Not the best. So I still think it's probably just a one of, but I don't play this deck, so I couldn't tell you entirely. It's just more or less how I feel. But sideboard here, double Thunder King, pretty good against zombies, good against the Dragon Turbo deck. Kaiku tech here, probably decent just because you have the Raikou, so you can always flip, kill a monster or a back row and maybe get the shot off with the Kaiku. Double Dyna, decent against frogs. The problem is side decking for frogs. Nothing directly hurts a deck because of the fact that they are siding cards just to stop your sideboard. So of course massive restrict would hurt the deck, but they are siding in as spell and trap hate. So Dyna does a decent job if you can get it out there and really just control the board and have some protection. Deck Devi, that's a blowout card. This is one of the better Deck Devi decks. I'm surprised there's only one in the sideboard here. Little confusing to me because this card is it's a blowout card against the Monarch deck. This is one of the blowout cards. Granted, you can hit a bunch of frogs with it, and if they already have Treeborn in the graveyard and they just draw like 3 Monarchs in a row, I guess that could hurt, but, I think it works more often than it doesn't. Triple Pulling the Rug, obviously, for Monarchs, could be used against Diva Hero as well. Double Compulse, I'm on Double Compulse myself. I think this is one of the best side deck cards right at this time. Outs Absolute Zero really easily, especially with Hero Beat. It's also good in the Value Mirror match. It's just generally a good card right now. I don't know if it can really be mained because it doesn't do anything against Blackwing. It's just a dead card. So I think it's a better side deck card as of now. Double Dust Tornado, pretty much staple, and Double Starlight Road just for the Blackwing decks. So this is the second place deck, 10 Foot's Value Turbo. I'm sure many of you have already seen it. And now we'll move on to the first place deck. What do you know? It's Value Turbo, and it's literally the same build. So this is Diego's first place Value Turbo deck. They both 10 Foot and Diego are on the same team. They talk a lot about value, and it looks like they're running nearly the exact same deck. The only difference here is Diego is running two Dust Tornado and 1 Oppression in the main. I actually like that better. I know at one point 10 Foot was on triple Dust in the main, but he has come back off of that a bit because of the frogs running around. So I do think this is probably the right ratio. But let's see here. Same monster lineup, of course, with the Spirit Reaper. Only thing that's different is the extra Dust Tornado. And then sideboard looks a little bit different just because of the Royal Oppression in the sideboard here. So very much the same deck. Obviously, this works here. Both of these decks made it to the final. They were able to win 5 or 6 rounds in a row. Value Turbo is just one of the more consistent decks of the format. I felt for a little bit of time that it was kind of moving back. I still think it's probably an S borderline A tier deck. The deck just wins because of how consistent it can be. There's 2 blowout cards in the deck. You have Dark Arm, and then Burial is just a blowout card. A lot of the decks now are starting to run Return from the Different Dimension, so it is making, it's having some changes. It's trying to adapt. I think this deck doesn't do well against frogs game 1, but I think it has a really good frog matchup games 2 and 3. So just because of deck Devi, which there's only one here, I don't know, because you can still Royal Oppression some of the junk synchrons and stuff like that. This might be even a side deck card against that frog matchup, but again, I'm not a value player, but these are the finalists, the 2 decks that were first and second place in the last tournament. War League is going strong right now. We're at week 5, so if any of you guys want to try to join as a free agent, join the Discord server, the Beast Mode Discord server, which is also the Edison War League server. I'll have it in the description. Even if you don't get on a team, you can watch all the replays and really see some top level play against some of the better players of the format. And if you guys want to play in some of these BCS tournaments, we host them. We try to do them once or twice a month. Right now, we're getting into a busy season for tournament play. I think this weekend is Deck Devastators, and then I believe in 1 or 2 weeks we're going to have an RBET online, and there's just a lot of tournaments coming up. So we try not to run anything that would conflict with any of the major tournaments. Like I said, these tournaments are really just a smaller event that meant for you to kind of test for the bigger tournament. So with that being said, we are pushing towards 1,000 subs. So if you guys like some of the content on the channel, I would appreciate it if you subscribe. I plan on coming out with a how to beat hero or hero beat guide. I know I've done a few others on Blackwing and frogs, and a lot of people like that. So without saying anything else here, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.